Uh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Rivercity 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr. And joining me is a man that had to see a very, very frustrating game in person. It's Mr. Matt Myers. How are you doing, sir?
Not great. Not great. I
Yeah,
think I feel like your intro is going to be probably the high energy point of our conversation tonight.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Uh, um, it took everything in me to go back and rewatch the highlights. I think this is the shortest notes I ever have in a game. Even so much so, the press game interview, I didn't get to do it because I wasn't at the game, but it was 2.5 minutes. Like that, even yeah.
Well, why should the effort, from the communication staff and the coaching staff, to do quality post game be any greater than the effort of the players on the field to defend, trap the ball, pass the ball effectively, really do anything? It's
Yeah.
indicative of where the club is right now.
Let me ask you this, Matt. Do you? And I'm not trying to make this game like a big. Well, it does feel like this game is like a small microcosm of the season so far. Like we saw a great effort scored by Kirkland, and then we saw our midfield just be a turnstile and just leave gaps all over the place, leaving our defense in horrible oppositions to try to defend, and leave our goalkeeper on the island. And then on top of that, we saw some confusing substitutions. We saw the return of players who normally needs to start. And we lost a Zoom that I and probably you would presume that we are probably better than. And also poor finishing. Did that seem like everything?
For the most part, I mean, after about minute, what was it, 7, minute 8, something like that, when Kirkland scored, there were flashes, but they're just that. They're
Yeah.
flashes, and that's, I think, a lot of what, this team is right now. You'll see little bits that, hook you in to think, "Oh, there could be something here," and then, they go and, step on the rake and, you know, just do some of the dumbest stuff you'll ever, think that you couldn't even possibly see on a field, and, end up losing, games where the other teams aren't good. There's been like, okay, Louisville, North Carolina, the 8-year games. Yeah, those two teams were just straight up better than us, right?
Right.
Fully willing to, concede, those, and also well established. Don't care about the 8-year games, But in all of these, games where they've just been bleeding points, Spokane's probably the only game I can think of. Maybe Naples, where the other team is clearly, better in terms of talent on the day and in terms of strategy, the way they came out and played. Everything else has just been, kind of finding new and creative ways to. I don't know if it's not executing. Maybe it is executing. The plan is just awful. I don't know, but it is
Yeah, I
frustrating at
don't.
this point.
It is. It is. And listeners, I will be the first to tell you it is okay to be annoyed. It is okay to be frustrated with this result. The past 2 months, it is okay. It
Yeah,
has not been good enough.
as we record, it's the 2-month anniversary of the last time this team won any game.
Right. And the thing is, it's not like this team isn't good enough to compete. It's not an issue of like 2019 or 2018 where this team just didn't have the talent. Like, this team can score. We have 20 goals scored. The thing is, the defense is just horribly leaky. And it
Yeah.
hasn't. I thought towards the end of last year, I thought, okay, we saw some improvements near the end of last year that was able to push us to get into the playoffs. And like, okay,
Mhm.
if we can build on that, we can do better.
Yeah.
We can get better.
And
We
that's what we expected
barely built on that.
expecting coming into this season, right? Like,
Yeah.
we were thinking, okay, the core of this team is going to be defense. This might not be a fun or pretty team to watch, but they'll be hard as hell to play against. And uh, hands up, couldn't have possibly been more wrong about that.
No.
What are we like 16, 17 games in? If you count all the different competitions, like
Yeah.
it's just absurd what's going on.
Right. Well, let's at least start off with the positive before we go more dumping onto the negative, because there are some highlights to talk about. Josh Kirkland scores another goal. I think this was actually a really nice goal from a nice assist from Matt Boduk, and also Kirkland to score as well in the 7th minute. Matty, decent cross in there. Kirkland, I don't know how he controlled this, but nice finish by him just to take that touch and then one time and in the back of the net past Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, I think all credit has to go to Josh on this one. Like, yeah, Boulder got
Yeah.
the cross in it, and credit there. I mean, that was a cross that was getting cut out repeatedly last week against North Carolina, so he was able to get the ball through this time. So good, step up. But yeah, Kirkland, being able to kind of turn and reach back, with his leg and almost around the defender because he had to overrun it. The ball was behind him, whichever way you want to look at it. He was able to do that, you know, basically kill the ball's momentum, get it onto a bounce, and it just pirouette his body around and just absolutely lace it with his left foot. And the only way Garcia is going to say that if it hits him, not if he gets to the ball, because 6 yards out, with power, you put it on net 99% of the time, you're gold. And
Yeah.
Kirkland was, and our man here, added another piece, not just to his game as a forward, because that was probably his most true number 9 type goal that he's had so far, I'd say.
Yeah.
But
Shades of Emmy in the box,
yeah,
Fox in the box.
yeah, which is good to see if he's going to be playing. Well, I think we have to presume he's going to be playing there for a while because Emmy not available again. But man, added a little bit of flash to that Selly.
Oh yeah, I saw the backflip. Got a
Yeah.
little scared there because did not need his need to go pop in that, but yeah, when you score that kind of goal, I mean, hey, the celebration got to match it as well.
Yeah, who knows where it's going to continue to go. Yeah, maybe that's the big breakout celebration for goal 5. We get to goal 10. We level up again. I look forward to seeing it.
Hey, yeah. I would have. I feel like this is fair to say. I feel like he is probably one of the better surprises of this season so far. Just of how he came onto the team, he grabs that striker spot.
I don't see how it's anybody else. Right now, maybe you could argue, for Darwin, but I think that would be more of if you just hadn't been paying attention to what he was doing in Nisa, because I think we expected Darwin to come in and be, 1A in the attack, different guy, 1A being the other part of the 1 and 1A puzzle, but I don't think in our wildest dreams we thought Kirkland would be basically a regular starter, B, with 5 goals already, at the start of June. Yeah, he's kind of breaking out, and I don't see how he loses his spot in the team. Whether forward or even just moving him out to the wing. Like I feel like he has to be out there right now.
Yeah, I mean he in a team that has questionable finishing, even despite scoring 20 goals. And I get it, like the hardest thing in soccer to do is to score a goal, but just he's proven to be one of the best finishers. To the point I was about to make was, even though it's hard to score a goal in soccer, some of the chances this team created were like on a platter. Like it was like, here you go. And then back to stepping on the rake. That's what we did. And watching this on TV was also frustrating because they kept cutting to the crowd or like something else in the background in the middle of like play developing. And I was just like, oh my God, I do not care. Like, I just want to see the play. Like, why are you cutting away in the moment of a breakaway? But
I mean,
that's my
I liked it when you texted me, "Hey, you're looking good on screen out in the middle of the game."
You were, mind you, that was in the middle of a Richmond Kickers breakaway. The camera guy just panned to the red army and zoomed in on y'all. And I'm just like, but just some of this finishing.
They probably knew where the breakaway was going. You gotta get the good stuff on screen instead.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying. Like there were times where it just seemed like, all right, second goal, here we come, and you're like, oh, didn't score there, okay. And as much as we were praising him a few minutes ago, like I feel like Kirkland had once at midway through the first half.
Yeah.
You might be able to explain a little bit better because with seeing the TV angle, because from the stands it looked like he got the ball played to him inside the box completely wide open, and he decides to take an extra touch or two rather than just pass the ball into the net because the keeper that first pass took him out of position.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened. Like Darwin makes an amazing move, which Darwin's ability in tight spaces is magnificent. Like that, I don't understand how he does it. He's done it like the past few games, but his movement in tight space is amazing. But so Kirkland gets the ball, and what I'm thinking is that either he sees the defender in his peripheral, and he's like, okay, let me take a touch and wait for him to go by and then shoot. And I'm pretty sure if he was in this position again, he might have just one-timed it. But yeah, as soon as he goes to go settle it, the defender just gets a slight toe to it and just pushes it away from Kirkland. And it's just like, this is a totally different game if the Kickers are up 2-0 instead of 1-0. And that's what it kept happening. Like,
yeah. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't just Josh. Like I can remember Bolduc had one, I think it was near the end of the first half, where it seemed like he could have taken straight.
shot.
Well, it seemed like he could have taken it in for a right footer shot. He decided to cut back in, try to go lefty, on a maybe a little bit better angle. And I'm just like, just go for it. Like I feel like sometimes these guys think too much on the field and don't just play.
Yeah. Like,
although we're absolutely going to contradict ourselves on that when we get around to talking about defense later on.
Inside the box, they take a little bit too long. Outside the box, it's like ADHD soccer on. Just but yeah, even Fitch, he had a nice shot in the first half. His, I think, hit the crossbar and they came back out. So,
I don't remember a couple of inches there. I don't remember that. I know he had one that got blocked by a defender after he cut in, which I thought was great.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
He kept kind of establishing that by getting down the line, getting across in, getting across in, getting across in, and the defender was playing to that, and Simon was able to get that cut back and help defender came and blocked it. But I think those are the kind of things where this is what we were talking about, that they can be able to create some good looks, some good chances. It's that final ball, that final touch that just doesn't seem to come together as often as you would think, again, for a team that has 20 goals already.
Yeah, no. Like, the opportunities are there. So I'm not mad at like them creating the chances. It's just the finishing. Like, just like, I guess natural finishes. Like, just go, take that chance, take that opportunity. The Kickers, and this is where I think the majority of my frustration really comes from with this game, is watching this game, I just kept yelling at the TV. Someone just settle the ball. Just slow down. Like, Matt, I'm pretty sure you heard this saying before of like, be quick but don't haste. Like, it just felt like this is what this midfield was doing this entire time. It was Niels or Vaughn or Dak would get the ball, try to play like a quick pass, and it would be a turnover. And the way how Richmond sets up is that we play, I wouldn't say a stupidly high line, but we play a high line, right? And there's a bunch of space in between us. And all Texoma did was, there's space there. No one is there guarding that space because they are 10 yards behind me. I'm going to go Richard in this space and just keep doing that over and over again. Like, that's all Texoma was doing. If you go back and look at the 2 goals that they scored, it's literally Richmond plays a stupid high line. No one is able to mark or get close to anyone, which is another frustration I got because we only have 8 tackles compared to Texoma 12. And it doesn't feel like anyone in this midfield could get stuck in and be aggressive. And the one defender we have to be aggressive is Cloudy Teller. Matt, I am venting right now. I am sorry. I should stop.
No, it's all good. Trust me, we'll get our turns multiple times. And there's nothing wrong with playing quick, but I think where the problem ends up coming is usually when they play quick, when they miss, they're not missing long. They're getting
they're missing
pass
short.
Very close to where they are, and that's where creates problem. Like if you miss long, I mean, sucks, yes, but okay, reset happens to every team in the world, dozens of times a game, no big deal, right? But I mean, how many times do we see them trying to dribble through some kind of pressure or dribble in to a bad spot, and you see Dak or especially in this game Dak and Niels just get picked clean off the ball. And I mean I think that's what happened on the first goal if I remember correctly. Niels gets the ball just taken clean off him near midfield. I don't know where he was trying to go leading up to that. And then the one where they should have had a second one in the first half where Dak takes one of the worst touches I've ever seen. I don't know what.
Just wide open now. It was a double. I'll call it a double doink. Samuel Asante, which this is also very frustrating because I've said this multiple times on Walking 90. I do not understand how no one in our midfield was like, maybe I should pick up Samuel Asante and not just let him free roam.
Well, in fairness on that one, we had the ball, and there, no rational person would think that the ball is going to take that bad a touch, and the ball is just going to be delivered to them for a 3-on-1, at the top of the 18. So absolutely got away with one there. So offsets a little bit of or whining, moaning about our own finishing because, you could even see Asante thought he had, nailed it. He couldn't believe that, it came off, the second upright and came back out. But yeah, it's just, and the thing is, like, our midfielders, like, what's the, I don't know, should I even go for the nice way of putting it? Like, in years past, okay, you would have like a Vignoles or somebody up there where we know he'll put in the effort, but we know that he's not really defending anything at all. Like, he's there to play the ball, be an attacking presence. Dak is I still think he's really a center back. He just, masquerading as a defensive midfielder right now. You got Vaughn, who is probably a defensive midfielder, really, and has played center back for us this year. And you got Niels, who at best is, kind of a box to box guy. And then sometimes you have Chandler, who I don't even know how to describe what Chandler is at this point.
A unicorn.
But we know Chandler's heart is stuck in defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he would tell you.
So we got all of these midfielders who your presumption would be that they would have defensive inclination. They most defenders know, okay, safety first, take care of the ball and everything, and yet turnovers galore keep happening.
Yeah, I don't get it,
And
man.
runners not being tracked. Like the goal Texoma scores in the first half. I mean, so many things to complain about there. I already mentioned Neal's get the ball taken from him at midfield. Okay, don't love it. It can happen. Happens up near midfield.
Yeah.
Should be able to recover from that. So they advanced up the field. Okay, again that happens. Like them advancing the ball is not the issue. If you watch it back on the replay, you see I think it's two different guys just coming down the middle, essentially unmarked. I think one of them gets picked up. The other one still doesn't get picked up. Eventually, the ball comes to him at the top of the D. He's able to take a touch. He's able to do his hair a little bit. He's able to kind of prep his shirt for his upcoming celebration. Order in his after game meal and everything, and then take his shot. And fair play, he pinged the hell out of the ball. Love to see our guys maybe shoot accurate like that from not Darwin. Darwin we know can do that. But
Darwin's good.
yeah,
Darwin do good.
yeah, but like where the midfielders helping there. When the ball does get to him, Griffin, what are you doing? Like you're just admiring him.
It's like Griffin is like squaring up and like trying to close off a window, and it's like, "Huh, I got you." It's like he's dancing with him. It is like Griffin, just close the space, like just go. Because if you rush him in that chance, the best that happens is that shot goes wide. But you're allowing him to square himself up.
Yeah,
It's like
and
when you
if
leave.
I was gonna say, and if he USL League One player, can thread the pass, through you after you step up in that tiny window, have at it.
Right, but if you're sitting there like doing the mariachi and dancing and standing in front of him, he is a professional. This is a CVSA player. Like it. That's the other thing that frustrates me about this game. There's a lot. I know listeners are like, Elliot, there's a lot of things that frustrate you. Yes, because this is a very frustrating game because it's just the lack of aggressiveness. Like, it felt like this whole game could be summed up in the kickers were being reactive to what Texoma were doing and not being proactive. Like the goal we gave up, we were reactive. The second goal we gave up, we were reactive. Like the way how we were playing, we were just so like reactive. We weren't the putting our foot on the gas pedal and being like, we are dictating this game. We are taking this game over. Because if you score a goal in the 7th minute, like Texoma was shell shocked. They were like leading, and there's an opportunity for you there to be proactive and put this game out of place. So that way you can coast. Not coast, but like you can have more control of it. And it just felt like the kickers weren't taking advantage of the opportunities. And then also when they were presented as defensively, we were just like, okay, if I try hard enough here, like I won't be at fault for the goal being scored or giving up the opportunity. It is like I just need someone. I mean, I think this is partially the reason why I still like Clyde because he has that aggressiveness in him. Like we know where Clyde faults are, right? He's not a great ball player because there were parts of this game where like he would get the ball in open space and he would go right back to goal. Like he's like, passing is not for me. But like he was doing a great job of closing out Samuel Santos when he was in his proximity. And not, whatever. Like Guy Franco, I'm sorry. Like there's a reason why there's an 18-year-old who most fans would say, yeah, I'm cool with him starting over Guy. Because I don't trust Guy defensively.
Right,
or to be aggressive enough to.
You don't like a guy who falls down when the ball's near him? That doesn't do it for you as a center back?
No, because your
That's
job as a center back is to stay up on your feet and make sure that he doesn't get the easiest chance in the world. And it's just
yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah, I'm putting some of that on Darren too. Like, yeah, Chella had a yellow card, but you got to trust your guys to that they'll be able to see the game out. And okay, if he screws up, gets himself sent off, yeah, make the change at that point and figure it out then. But like that felt to me like a playing scared and like making a sub for the sake of making a sub.
yeah. I mean, Darren did is we saw Chandler come back, Bill Hart, and
Hmm.
they added some quality, right? Like Chandler was the midfield was still wide open, but he was at least able to settle some things there in the midfield. Bill Hart added some dynamism on the right wing, which, like in the article I wrote about, like Baldock and Kirkland are good on the right wing, but they're not what the kickers need on the right wing. Like they need a Bill Hart, right? Like he's the same. I mean, Maxi as well. Like Maxi got subbed in for Beckett Howe. Like when you Beckett by himself as a fullback is a good defensive option. Like he's like a young Simon Finch, right? When you get defensively, you're not going to get offensively from him. But Maxi just adds something different where he can do the defensive job, but then he plays so well with Darwin because Darwin likes to cut in. Maxi's able to overlap and provide you with those crosses across the box, or getting the opposition fullback in a space that allows Darwin to get in behind. Right?
Yeah. So one thing, so I thought Bill Hart looked far better than I expected when he came in. Like I
Yeah.
was kind of figuring it might be a while till we actually see him be useful. Like, oh, he might be on the field, but like I don't know. It was one of those I'll believe when I see it. Starting to see it. But yeah, I like that he almost looked like he was playing, kind of a center attacking mid when he came on, and kind of adding a little bit, through there because I think the trouble that could come if we have Bill Hart out on the right side is he's going to be the same thing as Darwin on the left, and I can see the team getting very narrow and uh, because all the guys want to occupy the middle, which isn't necessarily a problem, but we also know that Darren usually likes the overlaps. And the other
Yeah.
thing is like Darwin can do it a little bit, but I don't think it would be Bill Hart's forte to really be able to stretch the field, and that's what the best thing that Boulder brings to the attack right now. A guy you can play that long ball to, and he's going to be able to run down a decent percentage of those.
Yeah. Yeah, he can. I I'm not gonna rant anymore, Matt. I'm not
That's not
gonna
true.
I mean, yeah, it just overall it's just a frustrating game because it felt like one, the kickers needed to win this game. It felt like the game the kickers needed to win. But then also it's just the play. The lack of aggression, man, or the lack of awareness defensively. Because if you're gonna my thinking is, and granted, I'm not a professional soccer coach, right? I coach high school soccer, which is very different, which is literally basketball on turf. But my thinking is if you're gonna play a high line, you need your defensive midfielder to be a screen for the back four and just literally just swipe. And then also, like you would think, like, okay, if we are going to play this aggressive high line, like we need to use tactical fouls. And maybe that is a part this game is missing because, and this is going to sound weird to say, this team just isn't foul enough. Like you feel like once we lose the ball, we're like, oh, okay. Like you take 5 steps there, and then I'm going to come chase you down. Like it's like for real, I guess I'm asking for like a Fernandinho, like someone who's just sole job is out there is just to get tactical fouls.
Yeah, I
And
hear what
just
you're saying. I
slow
mean,
the game down.
they did outfoul Texoma 13-12, but I hear what you're saying. Uh,
Yeah.
Vaughn is a guy who will absolutely get himself stuck in. Like I think he's the guy you're looking for, here. I think the other thing, if you want to play high line, like it might help to have a guy who's like above 50th percentile in the league in speed, back
Yeah.
there. Because
Yeah.
like even this game, nothing came of it. There was one point where they were able to slip a pass in that channel between Simon and Griffin, and one of their guys sped right by. I mean, he had a weak shot straight to Sneddon after it. But we've seen that happen multiple times this year where teams have been able to target that exact combination of our defenders and just leave them in the dust.
Yeah, part of me almost wants to go back to what we did against North Carolina. And once again, I am contradicting myself. It worked. Like Dak making that pseudo back five worked because it just gave you extra cover. And it worked.
Right. And yeah, last week I was saying I would hope that we'd never need to see that again. It might be necessary, just because this team sucks at defense. Like they are awful at defending.
Offensively, B plus, right?
Right.
Maybe
and
you can work with some of the finishing, and that will come. That's fine.
And I think
defensively,
might be
oh my god.
Right, and we might be in a situation where we're like, okay, let's hope that Darwin, Kirkland, and pick a third guy, can be able to create something themselves, and we pack it in on defense. We play some negative, ugly looking stuff, but stop the bleeding and work on some smash and grab 1-0s, like what got this team turned around at the end of the year last year. Like that was not good, quote unquote good soccer to watch, but it was effective. Got them over the hump.
You know what's fun soccer? Winning. This team hasn't done that in 2 months. Winning is fun. Once again, listeners, I am sorry if you are listening with AirPods in. I am sorry. I am just frustrated. And it's just like, I don't.
Well, and I fully believe that the team not winning right now is the reason we're seeing the crowds fall apart. And you told 20 years ago to me that announced crowd of 3,800 and change, I would be upset about that. I would laugh at you. But front office, they started to set a standard, where we were getting some sales at 6, but pretty consistently in the 5s. And all we've seen this year is that number trickle down and tumble down. And I can't help but think it's a lot of the goodwill that this organization's had built up through 2022, even started 2023. Those checks aren't cashing anymore. With the audience, and I think part of it is cannibalizing their own audience with the Ivy stuff. Too. I'm not going to begrudge people wanting to go see see soccer, but like, come on, all you built up. We're into the summer months now, and people don't have the school excuse. They don't have we have a tournament to go to, excuse. Oh, we're at soccer games all day. You can't get out City Stadium. This should be the time when attendance is starting to go up, not down.
Yeah. The only thing I can think is that it's the first weekend with no school on Monday, so maybe people are taking vacations, but even still, like, once again, listener, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to voice it too. Like, if there's something that you're not happy about, like, I know I've heard people, complaining about concession prices. Say it on social media. Send them emails. Make your voice heard, because that's the only way anything's going to change. Like, let people know you're on. Talk to Rob on the way out. Talk to Camp on the way out. And tell them that you're pissed about something. If they hear from Elliot, they're going to be like, "Oh, who cares?" If they hear from regular, not everybody's important, but quote unquote regular people, not the absolute insane people like the two of us are. It's probably going to actually mean more coming from you all than from us.
Yeah, like, don't email me complaining, which I've gotten a few of those. Like, I don't control concessions. Email them, send it to them. All right, let's just put this game away. Like, I
Last thing I
think
want to
this
say,
is yeah,
I did like a little bit of what Andrew Richmond did. Like he got into the right spot. He missed that shot that he probably could have put on target, but he seems to keep on showing up in the right spots. And if nothing else, he also seemed like he was seeking out and trying to get on the ball when those last 10 minutes when we needed attack and needed to get a goal. I saw him dipping into the midfield and collecting, trying to make something happen. So there's a positive.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I know people will make jokes about how this team isn't about winning, it's about only playing the kids, and they'd be frustrated about that. One, let me tell you something. If Richmond had the money, trust me, they would use it. Richmond don't. So that's why we have kids playing. Do I the kids that I'm seeing playing, like Richmond, Beckett, Griffin, Staden, I'll even throw Kirkland in there. Like, do I think there's upside or do I see some good things for him? Yes, there's been good things. Is there a huge learning curve for some of these guys? Absolutely. But with that, the veterans in this team need to step up. Like, I shouldn't be relying on Griffin Garnett being our best passer out the back. I shouldn't be relying on
I'm
James
okay with
Staden.
relying on him. This is his second year. He's a full professional now. I'm fine with that.
Well, I mean, in terms of like, I shouldn't. Chella needs to step up, like be better on the ball, making passes. Right? It shouldn't just be like, oh, the defense shouldn't be just signified like, all right, we know Chella's not gonna pass. We know it's gonna be Griffin Garnett, right? Like some of these responsibilities need to be stepped up more. Griffin Garnett's a 19-year-old goalkeeper. Yeah, he's professional. Like all of them are professionals, but like we should not just be relying on the under 21 crowd to be like, okay, if they can do it, if they can step up, we be good. Like I need the vets to step up more. And I think like I'm not seeing that enough. I didn't see that enough in this game, nor the aggression. Like after each goal, I didn't. And maybe it would have made me feel better as a fan. And I'm speaking this as a fan.
You want to see somebody cussing the rest of the team out, don't you?
Yes, especially on the second goal. Like it just looked like everyone was just like, okay. Like no one just like snatted, cuss somebody out, please. Gee, even though you fell on your face, get up and be pissed. Simon, I've seen you be mad. Do it here. Dak, you are from New York. Cut someone out in New Yorkish. Like, just once again, listener, I am annoyed. It is okay to be annoyed.
I think we might have our title episode.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get it. We're putting this game behind us. We're moving on. This team sits 6th right now at the table.
You want to bust out that points per game table again there, Elliot? Nope.
I might have to. I ain't
going to say the same thing it did a few episodes ago.
Nope. We're not even doing the math. I think it's like 1.1 points per game. So this team is perfectly average. 20 goals scored, 20 goals given up, 0 goal differential, 3 wins, 4 draws, 5 losses. In our last 5 games, we had 3 draws and 2 losses. That's in the league. We play Windocks, who recently just drawn with Westchester Soccer Club. Matt, those two Richie for this game for Windocks because he picked up a red card.
What a coward.
What are you expecting from this game?
Nothing fun.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, because Knoxville's been good, this year, in like all their competitions. Like they, pretty sure they knocked out Tulsa in the Open Cup if I remember correctly, and
yeah,
I think they're doing all right in the Jaeger Cup, too if I remember correctly. They're solid, and they don't they're not a team that makes mistakes. Like they played 8 league games. They're like the absolute opposite of what the Kickers are. 10 goals for, 8 against in 8 games. We're 12 games in, 20-20, like Elliot just said. So I think it's going to be a little bit of who can dictate their style a little bit more. I want to bet on them on their new baseball field that they've got. And yeah, I'm a little bit worried that our run of never losing in Knoxville is going to end on Friday night. Friday night, by the way.
Yeah. Once again, Friday night. Yeah, I mean, one thing Richmond got going for him is that I don't know, man. Like, I know Darren loves this 4-3-3. Like, to be honest with you, until the midfield can step up, like Darren, go to a 5 in the back. Like, secure the defense and make it tough for teams to just bypass you. Like, it's not all on Darren, right? Because if coaches don't really win you games. It's kind of like the players you have as well. And the quality, 9 times out of 10, the more quality players win games. I just need guys to step up. Like, at some point, I'm not seeing practice, so I don't know how these guys are, like, in practice. I know it's pissing Chandler off. I know it's pissing Maddie off. But, like, outside of that, maybe Chella, I don't know who else is pissed off or who else is just like, okay. All right.
Yeah, but the culture's good. Maybe the culture needs to change. Maybe, I think we've said this before. Like, you need a crazy person or two on any team, and you need just a complete a-hole. You don't want a whole team of them, but you need just a complete dickhead or two out there.
Yeah, like I need someone who is like, you're not just gonna walk through this midfield. And look, I know people are going to be like, yeah, Zaka Moran. Yes, we did. Zaka was also on his last legs. Okay. Zaka, he could do it. You need to find a new Zaka Moran. Someone who is like, he's either you or the ball, but now both of y'all getting past me. I mean, Matt, I'm going to be honest with you. In this game, if you give me a draw, I'll go 1-1. Because Richmond can score.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also probably going to concede one. And if you told me, hey, I'll give you a 1-1 right now, I will take it gladly and go back.
Probably would too.
Like, just don't embarrass yourself.
They've got a good roster. We saw what Kempis did to us a few times last year. Like talking about the midfield, like a guy like Angelo Kelly, like he's got to be licking his chops. Going up against this midfield right now and just bullying these guys.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a tough one. It's probably one of the tougher matchups I think for this team this year.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the month of June doesn't get any earlier for us. It'd be any easier for us. Like Winox, Spokane, Union Omaha, Lexington, and then we get our glorious break. And this is something else I would ask you, Matt. Like, do you feel like this team is just worn out? Like, they need a break? Like, teams were playing around us, excuse me, for lack of a better reason, because of the schedule, have got built-in breaks. Like, Texoma didn't play this past weekend in the Jägermeister Cup, so they were fresh, right? Like, do you feel like this team, given the Kickers are probably playing the most games out of anyone in USL League One, I think this is just a case of this team is starting to wear down. They're missing their key players. And the players that are replacing those key players aren't able to step up when needed to.
I don't think it's a valid reason.
Okay. I'm not asking you a valid reason, but like, can you see that?
Well, first of all, according to the game report, there were no injuries to report. Everybody's healthy, according to the injury report. So
Okay.
We'll leave that one there. But it's not like this team is playing multiple games a week. We're playing one game each weekend,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, these guys are paid money. I mean, they're not getting like rich or anything off it, but they're paid money to be athletes and to be able to mind their bodies and keep in shape. Like if you're getting worn down, 3 months into season playing pretty much one game a week, go find another job.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Kickers need to find better training staff, too in that case.
Yeah. Like I just
like if you're throwing that idea out to me like August or September, all right, I might buy it. Or if it had been like constant Wednesday Saturday deals. But right now, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's no excuses for it.
Yeah.
It's just is flat out not good enough.
Also,
And
how
like,
ridiculous is it that out of the rest of the games in June, the one you probably have the most hope against is the one against a team from a higher division. Lexington, still
what?
garbage.
Knowing this team, knowing Richmond, they'll find a way how to fuck. Excuse me, kids, you'll be fine. That's a soccer word. They'll mess around and like win 2 of these games, and then by the time we record Lexington, we'll be like, "Well, they seem to be going good." Like,
I'm okay with that.
If
they want to make us, look foolish with all the complaining we're doing, I'm more than okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think I'd be okay with it.
We just right now the ship is stuck. I feel like we're a ship stuck in like the Panama Canal. It is just like we can't turn. Like we're just stuck. This team isn't bad. This team isn't good. They're just like this. Like it's just flatlined. And someone needs to put a heartbeat into this team. Who would that be? Someone in the midfield needs to.
Yeah, I feel like if we're using the boat analogy, they're not sinking or anything, but there's a little crack in there. They're starting to take on some water.
Yeah,
it's like you're not worried yet, but you got to kind of keep an eye on it. They're like, ooh, it's a little got a little inch or two down there now.
So Matt, I thank you for doing the show with me because this is like my therapy that I needed because I needed to talk to someone about this game because once again, I was annoyed.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So, what am I about to say? Yeah, okay. Listeners, we just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day for listening to our show. Because without you, we couldn't do this. We wouldn't want to do this. Thank you for listening to me rant about this game because, once again, I was annoyed. So, if you want to donate to this show so we can get you more articles, like I am working on a Christmas list. Well, not a Christmas list. Christmas in July list for the Richmond Kickers. And what should they do with this so-called Christmas list? What kind of things Darren should prioritize? If you want to help out with that work, you can donate to us at ko-fi.com/rivercity93 or go to rivercity93.com/donate. If you want to check out all our work from the IV to the U20s to even this frustrating team that I love, you can go to rivercity93.com. Anything else from you, Matt, before we wrap up?
No. What else is there to say at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, y'all. Well, hey, once again, do something nice for yourself. Have a great time as always. We will talk to you guys next week where hopefully we are talking about a Richmond Kickers draw. If I say win, they don't do it. So if I say draw, maybe it becomes a win. Reverse psychology. It works that way. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys next week. Be easy and be safe.